Poets Sing by Emily Dickinson. Besides the autumn poets sing a few prosaic days, a little this side of the snow and that side of the haze, a few incisive mornings, a few ascetic eves, gone Mr. Bryant's goldenrod and Mr. Thompson's sheaves. Still is the bustle in the brook, sealed are the spicy valves, mesmeric fingers softly touch the eyes of many elves. Perhaps a squirrel may remain, my sentiments to share. Grant me, O Lord, a sunny mind, thy windy will to bear. Sometimes you'll see Vaidya Mishra will have you have cooked fruits in with your grains. I've read, from other sources to not mix fruits with grains, and so it's better if it's cooked fruits with cooked grains, but I personally separate my fruits from my grains. I found that to be helpful, and I am careful with that from a pitta standpoint, because when you mix fruits and grains, it causes a fermentation to happen in your belly, and I've just noticed that not doing that, I have to be very careful what I have for breakfast in terms of not getting migraines. I will get migraines on occasion, and I have greatly noticed that separating the fruits from the grains helps prevent that, and also taking great care with what I do in the morning time. In addition to breakfast, also just a nice morning healthy routine. But that's beside the point. Some other ideas, so you could just do a stewed apple or pear with cloves, cinnamon, cardamom, or another appropriate spice for your particular metabolism and bowel tendency. If you do that, then you could have that first thing and then eat your oatmeal, a half hour or an hour later. And then you can also have the dried fruits that you could stew in addition to the apples would be raisins, cranberries, and apricots. And then nuts and seeds, almonds, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, pecans, walnuts, pine nuts, etc. And then for your liquid that you have, it's a very common thing first thing in the morning to have hot water with lime added to it, or hot water with lemon. Lime is more neutralizing to the pH, but lemon is still awesome, and lemon and lime are fantastic anti-cancer substances that I recommend that we get as much as possible, daily if possible. So the liquid, and again, if you're on the mono diet, you're reducing dairy, but in a general sense, dairy is not vilified in Ayurveda in the same way it has been by other nutritional things. And a lot of this has to do, I'm sure, with the fact that Ayurveda comes from India, and dairy is a big part of the diet, as opposed to Asia, where Asians do not do well typically with a lot of dairy in their diet. That's not how that culture evolved. So whole milk is recommended if you're going to do dairy, and organic milk, and the best would be raw if you find a safe source for raw milk. But I personally, just for the ease and accessibility, just kind of draw my line by buying organic milk. And so that would be part of what you could do for breakfast in your hot cereal. And if you know you have a lactose intolerance, obviously don't have milk. You'll get violent, immediate cramping and diarrhea. So if you don't have a lactose intolerance, though, if you take dairy out of your diet, then your body stops producing lactase, which is the digestive enzyme that breaks down lactose, which is the milk sugar. So just approach that topic with care and great sensitivity to where you're at. And I did get this learning about dairy, and I eat dairy, but I have seen so many people in the real world since becoming a practitioner who really do benefit from the dairy-free diet. So I'm not discounting that, and I'm acknowledging that, we all have this inner intelligence and we know our bodies better than any of our healthcare practitioners know our bodies. So listen to that, educate yourself on, it's a huge topic. A lot has been written about milk. So educate yourself on the topic and see what resonates with you. For lunch, you can alternate your grains, having rice, quinoa, couscous, barley, millet, amaranth, and buckwheat. And if you do have gluten intolerance or celiac disease, what's neat is that millet and quinoa are not grains, they're actually seeds, and they do not contain gluten. So that's another big topic that I won't get into, but my teacher, Pat Layton, really feels that all this gluten intolerance is not actually gluten intolerance, but it's intolerance to all the pesticides, herbicides, and genetically modified components to our grains that we are eating right now. It's creating allergies and intolerance to the food. Our physiology is not recognizing it as the food that it comes from Mother Nature. So for lunch, you can also have veggies, steamed veggies, and pick from the following categories. 1, cruciferous, and the cruciferous family includes broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. So pick one of those for your lunch, and then pick a colored vegetable like carrots, yams, sweet potatoes, or parsnips, and then a dark leafy green such as kale, Swiss chard, collard greens, spinach, and dandelion. And my store here, I notice, has mustard greens. So a dark leafy green, and then additional vegetables would be zucchini, green beans, okra, etc. And special vegetables would be daikon, cilantro, and bitter melon. At the farmer's market in Eau Claire, the Hmong farmers sell bitter melon, which is very alkalizing to your liver. It's very pitta pacifying. It's very cleansing, and great to stop pre-diabetics from getting into the diabetes phase, and it's also helpful for people who do already have diabetes. And proteins: chicken, fish, small beans, lentils, dal, lentils, these are the small beans, and paneer. Paneer is Indian fresh cheese, and you make it by boiling milk, taking the milk off when it starts to boil, and you add buttermilk and stir, and it separates into curds and whey. And the curds are a fabulous source of protein. The whey is too. The whey is a kidney tonic, and so you can eat your curds and drink the whey. You can also use the whey to cook your grains. And have a probiotic at lunch, and this is called a lassi. If you've been to the Indian restaurant and had lassi, but the way that you make it in Ayurvedic cooking is to have 2 tablespoons of yogurt to 1 tablespoon of water, and you stir that up really well. Add spices to it that are appropriate for your dosha, and have it with your meal. And then dinner ought to be, in an ideal situation, which this has been very hard to help my clients implement and very hard for me to implement in my life, but having dinner actually be the lightest meal of the day. And you can have foods that are similar to the lunch foods that I mentioned. So those are some general healthy eating guidelines for you. If you would like me to create a customized Radiant Living detox and rejuvenation program for you, please email or call to schedule an appointment. My email address is patricia.wickman@gmail.com, and my phone number is 715-529-3061. Please visit the Radiant Living website at www.rlyaa.com for more information and pricing.